Got a bunch of cotton cloth there. Got a oversized can here. I got a char cloth maker now. See how well this works? Now all I did was I shredded up an old shirt I had lying around. Ripped it into shreds. And I just took sections of that, squared it off, and packed them in there. One on top of the other, no special order, don't have to alternate, don't have to flip them around or anything like that, but it's what we did this time. Pretty much same as we did last time, only I used bigger pieces this time. About the same setting as before. Again, medium, high, medium, you're going to end up cooking them a lot slower. It's still going to do basically the same thing. High, you cook them quicker and they start to actually ember. Basically, I just saw the first hint of smoke coming out of there. I don't know if you can see it. There you go, a little wisp here and there. But that means we're starting to cook. Can't really tell. It could be the can itself smoking right now still. I'm sure there's still some adhesive on there left. Won't be when we're done. Now this will smoke out the apartment. So, I mean, that's something you got to consider. I've got my smoke alarm deactivated right now, so I don't have to deal with that going off. For the sake of audio, I'm not running fans. I will be as soon as this is done. I'll have to crack a window and run a fan or two. As you can already see, you get a healthy amount of smoke coming out of there. You should be at the point where the cloth's starting to smoke now. Not quite. Nope. Seeing my first hint of little smoke coming straight out of the top. It's telling me that cloth's going to be ignitable here shortly. Give her another pass. Nope. Not quite ready yet. As of right now, it's just pushing the flame out of the way. It's actually getting hot enough to make the char cloth when that'll actually ignite, as I showed in the previous video. Starting to get the first faint smell of burnt cloth. It's actually becoming more pronounced as we go here. Before it's not a little too quick to ignite. Now because I can't get it to ignite, I can't use the same method as I do with my smaller tin, which is ignite it and when it goes out, it's done. It's actually get to that point where it may stay ignited. Alright, well, we'll stop playing with that for a minute. Let it continue to cook off. And I'm making it pretty smoky over here by the fan setup. Bottom side of the can, I don't know if you can see in there, but that's cherry and red glowing up off the bottom. The burner actually isn't that hot, just the bottom of the can is. Let's see if we can get this to ignite one more time here. By igniting that, it actually keeps down on the smoke normally. Right now I've got excess smoke because I'm using the tin cans, but once you burn off whatever's on your cans, you'll your adhesives, your papers, whatever, you'll actually have a lot less smoke until the flame goes out. But by the fact that this flame can't stay lit, it's kind of telling me that we should be pretty close to being done. I can't tell if it's still blowing out because it's too strong. Keep an eye on the amount of smoke that comes up off that as soon as that goes out. And that's what we're keeping from being in the air here in the apartment by having this burn. That, and as I said, you know, it's a way of timing your char cloth. I've got a pretty thick pile. I'm probably 30, maybe 40 squares deep. I generally only do them 5 to 10, so I mean, I'm leaving this on a little extra. Compensate for that. Now exactly what I'm going to do to cut off the oxygen to this, I'm hoping it's going to be enough, but I'm going to take this can, set it on top, over top of that little breather hole there, and hopefully that'll be enough. Now as this carbonizes this cotton material, it's working on the same premise as your gasifiers do. You may have done some research, or you may want to look into that. Vehicles that run on a gasifier, you have wood chips or any type of burnable substance like cloth, and you heat it up and you create a flammable gas. That's exactly what this is doing. You could harness this gas with a few other things, a pressure vessel, and a few other odds and ends for small parts, and build it right into the back of a pickup truck. I've heard of trucks, tractors, generators, all sorts of stuff running on this. Basically a conversion for your house. You could put a couple cans like this over top of a wood stove and create, run it as a generator anytime your heat's on, you'd be creating some sort of electrical backup. Just an idea. If you got the time to experiment or look them up. Finally getting to that point where our gas isn't coming out super fast. It's actually staying lit pretty well. I mean, what else can you do with a old torn up t-shirt, tank top in this case? I mean, this is ultimately going to end up providing me with probably close to 40 or 50 fires because I can break the pieces in half. I mean, potentially even more than that. I could potentially get hundreds of fires out of this. Just from the, I think it was 3 1-inch or 1.5-inch wide strips that I'd cut off that shirt. Just got a message my battery's overheating from being too close to the stove. Alright. I'm going to call this experiment done, and we'll let it sit there, cool down, and see what happens. I'll probably end up moving that over to one of the other burners, and we'll go from there. Enjoy.